Today we'll be going to build a real-time stock price monitor using Python and Finnhub API. Let's get started. First, we have some imports at the very beginning. The first one, Streamlit, will be the main library for creating our web app. It allows us to display things on the screen and take user input. Next, we have requests, which will be used to fetch data from the internet, specifically stock prices in our case. Time will be needed to introduce a delay between updates, and Pandas will help us organize the stock data in a table format. Now, let's define a function called fetchStockPrice. This function takes two arguments: symbol, which is the stock ticker symbol, like Apple for Apple, and API key, which is an authentication key provided by a Finnhub API. We'll use this key to access their data. Inside the function, we construct a URL using fstrings, which is a fancy way to embed variables into strings. This URL points to the API endpoint that provides stock price data. We use the requests library to make a GET request to this URL. If the request is successful, the data is returned in JSON format. We use response.json to convert this JSON data into a Python dictionary. The most important part of the data we're interested in is the current stock price, and that's usually denoted by the key C in financial data APIs. So, we return the value associated with the key C from the data dictionary. Now, let's move on to the main part of the code. Here, we use title from Streamlit to display a title for our web app, Real-Time Stock Price Monitor. Next, we define an API key. Get your API key from Finnhub to fetch live stock prices. Replace it with your actual API key. Then, we use multi-select to create a drop-down menu where the user can select multiple stock tickers they want to monitor. We provide a default list of options, including some of the big tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla. After the user selects some stocks, an if statement checks if there are any symbols selected. If there are, we use write to display another heading, live stock prices. We then create a Pandas data frame to store the stock data. This data frame has two columns: symbol to store the stock ticker symbol, and price to store the corresponding stock price. Initially, we fill the price column with zeros. We then create a placeholder using empty. This creates a space in our web app where we'll display our stock data table. Now comes the loop that keeps our stock prices live. It runs forever because we want the stock prices to update continuously. Inside the loop, we iterate over each selected stock symbol. For each symbol, we try to fetch the price using the fetchStockPrice function we defined earlier. If the price is fetched successfully, we update the price in our data frame for that particular stock symbol. An important point here is that we're not creating a new data frame every time. We're modifying the existing data frame because creating a new data frame every time would be inefficient. If there's an error fetching the price for a particular stock, we use error from Streamlit to display an error message on the screen. Finally, we use table placeholder.table to update the table in our web app with the latest data frame containing the stock symbols and their corresponding prices. And lastly, we use time.sleep to introduce a 5-second delay before fetching the prices again. So, that's how this code builds a real-time stock price monitor. The user selects stocks, and the app continuously updates the prices every 5 seconds. Now open your terminal and run the command, streamlit run app.py. We can select stocks from here, and it will be displayed in the list. The prices will get updated every 5 seconds. We can also remove stocks from the selected list. As we can see, our app is updating stock prices in real time. If you enjoyed this tutorial, you will definitely love to watch other quick coding challenges on this channel. Let me know what projects you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.